I woke up this morning with blood on my hands. Terrified and panicked, I couldn't understand. No cuts and no bruises, no clue what could do this till I turned on the news and came to the conclusion. The truth of the matter, the facts I must face. My ignorance is cause for thousands displaced. My silence complicit in them fleeing their towns. Cry out to the world, yet no one hears a sound. Over all the bombs with my signature, my dollars ensure their continued hurt. But I can't deter, nor can I prevent more terror and pain for the innocent. Those funds have been spent, they already sent more soldiers and weapons, choosing not to step in. Won't stop the killing, so more lives aren't lost. It seems some are expendable and not too great a cost. Even when they're children with big eyes and big wishes. Now just bodies scattered, this world so malicious. There are plenty to blame, too many to name. I see on my skin, I'm forever stained. No amount of scrubbing will make them pristine. How many of you can say yours are clean? Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Navpreet Singh, also known as Nav the Poet. I'm a spoken word artist who has been writing and performing for 13 years. Thank you. I travel the world sharing my art, stories, and experiences to break barriers and build bridges so that hopefully together we all can create a better world. Now, I don't know about all of you, but this year has been really rough for me. Depression's been killing me. But it's hard to explain to people what that experience is. It's hard to really get people to understand what it feels like. And so I wrote this poem to do that to the best of my ability, and it's titled, What Depression Feels Like. It feels like walking through a tunnel that seems to go on forever, meaning there's no light at the end because, well, there is no end. Constantly trapped in this overwhelming darkness that appears out of nowhere, a weight that you have no chance of lifting because it rests on top of you, to the point where the simple act of getting out of bed each and every day becomes a most difficult and daunting task. It is as much a physical illness as it is psychological, yet there are no symptoms visible, so people don't notice. It is as if I am piecing together the puzzle of my life, yet someone, somewhere, is always ruining it. It's that gnawing feeling. Even when life is going well and things are looking up, there is that feeling that creeps into my brain and takes over, telling me that this is not reality. This is all a facade, and this happiness I feel is as fake as the smiles I wear. And the more I accept that, the more this feeling grows into a giant abyss, consuming me, becoming my seasonal residence. Even when my salvation is laid out in front of me, love, joy, and people who care, this feeling tells me it is all too good to be true, making happy endings conceivable only in movies. It feels like there is no path for you. Every turn is the wrong one, pulling you deeper into the darkness. All roads lead to your self-destruction because that flashlight you packed, the batteries have died. The fire has been blown out by the harsh winds, and the fog is piling on. So no matter what I am doing during my day, it feels like I am always down on my knees because it seems like there is no way through this. It is as if I am screaming at the top of my lungs, yet no sound is coming out. All the air has been sucked out of me and I am suffocating on my despair. It feels like I am transparent and completely exposed to the world. Everyone can see just how broken I am inside, even though they don't. It is as if there is a wall between me and everyone else. and I am banging till my fists bleed, hoping to break out, or even better, that someone else will break through. Because every day, people look on, then move along, as I stand here frozen in space and time, constantly questioning, desperately searching for the answer, will I ever be free? Thank you. So, my mental health has been a journey, and poetry means a lot to me because of how it has assisted me, not only personally, not only professionally, but also communally. I mean, I wouldn't be on this stage if it wasn't for poetry, and I wouldn't be in the community that I am with people like the wonderful Leah V, who you will see later on tonight. So Leah and I met in like 2018, 2019 on the open mic circuit, and we've just become such close friends because of our shared art and many other interests. And so it's that kind of community, that kind of network that poetry has graced me with. And before I started therapy, I always viewed poetry as my therapy. So this next poem is about that relationship with poetry, and it's titled Counseling. I write to heal my wounds, because help ain't coming soon. Dependency will bring doom, but I don't sit in gloom and despair. I grin and bear it. I write and share it. All my dirty laundry, I choose to air it. I'm precise like a snare hit when I tear it up on the mic. Bright lights like the sun, bathing in the glow. Behind these eyes is pain you'll never know. So the stage becomes my therapist, sharing the product of my pen and my wrist, creating Rorschach ink blots in the forms of syllables, rhymes, and verbs, introducing you to stories you've never heard about. So as I scream and shout, I'm fighting the anger, I'm feeding the rage, I'm sewing wounds inside and breaking the cage, becoming a sage, because I'm turning the page to the next chapter of my life. Each time I am on the mic, I am fighting suicide and engaging the strife. Each rhyme that I spit is a step towards the light. Verbal assault on my demons as I paint pictures with hand gestures, releasing all the pain that festers, helping me feel better inside from all the times I've been ostracized or blatantly tossed aside. I've repeatedly died inside. Now, two worlds collide as I speak in metaphors, engage in rabid wars. I'm on my 10th tour, hearing voices I can't ignore like I got PTSD, except the P is for the present, and I'm still in this losing battle. Up the creek without a paddle, my past sins have got me rattled. So I grab the mic like my life depended on it, because it actually does. Poetry has saved me from the man I once was, continuing to heal me. It's making me whole. So what you're watching now is the resurrection of my soul. My path has taken... My path has taken its toll, filling me with hopelessness and sorrow. I'm up against the odds, fighting like there is no tomorrow, because there may not be. Thank you. I love y'all. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for the appreciation of poetry, because you don't always find people who understand and appreciate poetry. And that's been my experience. There's a lot of misconceptions and assumptions of what poetry is. I remember one time I was doing a show at a college, and beforehand, we were walking around the cafeteria, inviting students to come to the show. And so we told this one table of students, and one of the students said, I don't like poetry. And so I said, well, what have you heard or read? And they said, nothing. And then they backtracked and said, like stuff in high school. And that's when it dawned on me that that's most people's understanding of poetry, is what they read in high school and were forced to interact with. And those poets are amazing, but I can understand as a student, as a former student myself, why it might not connect with them. But poetry is this incredible, incredible thing. And so I wrote this poem called Poetry is for Everyone. I shall remain a prisoner to my destiny no more. I must break free of the chains tightly gripping my soul, walk a path my own, forge a way to my heart's desire, fueling the flame of fulfillment, that which burns at my core. That's what I figure people think when they hear I perform poetry, and why they claim it isn't for them. But poetry is so much more than speaking in dead languages. It's more than Shakespeare and Whitman, sonnets and soliloquies, slams and open mics. It's more than coffee houses with low lighting and people snapping. It's more than rhyme schemes, metaphors, and being deep. It's not just about performing like this, or talking like this, or getting really loud, then immediately falling to a whisper. Nor is it about long pauses preceded by a sentence which builds to the climax of the piece, where I increase my intensity and finish with ferocity. Now, see, poetry is all around us every day. Science is poetry. The way two hydrogen atoms combine with a single oxygen atom to form the essence of life, or how we can emulate the best of our parents because we possess their traits within us from birth, that is poetry. Math is poetry, with numbers and equations instead of words and sentences. I mean, why is it that 2 plus 2 equals 4, 8 times 8 equals 64, and 3x plus 4y equals 36? Solve for x and y. The answer is poetry. Calculate the angle you need to shoot a 3 or hit a home run. That's physics, actually. But physics is poetry. And speaking of sports, also poetry. When our team scores, it feels as if we've just won the lottery. And when they lose, it matches the pain of being rejected by your crush. But they are still my team. So don't you dare talk badly about my team, because we are in this together and we are not losers. How fascinating that we become so invested in strangers simply because they represent our hometown on the field. It's poetic. Much like history, even with the darkness, the greed, selfishness, and corruption, all the evil that exists. The Nazis did not win the war. The economic stability and societal normalcy of the 1950s was followed by periods of upheaval and dynamic change in the 60s and 70s. Innovation has brought us to such technological advancements today that we can now travel, communicate, and share moments in ways previously unimaginable. And while there always will be struggle, pain, and sacrifice, the course of history constantly moves towards a brighter future. Poetry resides in everything we encounter because it's about emotions and ideas and experiencing all the beauty this life has to provide. Because there is beauty in it all, and there is power in what we feel. However, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe poetry isn't for everyone. But if you've ever been so enthralled in a book that you couldn't put it down, sat on the edge of your seat during a movie, loved a song so much you listened to it 1,000 times over to the point where you got sick of it and never listened to it again until years later when you rediscovered it and wondered why you stopped listening to it in the first place. Laughed until you cried at a family dinner, hugged a friend tightly as they broke down in tears on your shoulder because that jerk cheated on them, sat up all night talking to someone because you two just clicked, been in love, had a passion, that uncontrollable fire that drives you to wake up each and every morning, or felt deeply about someone or something, anything at all, which fills you with meaning and purpose. Well then, poetry is for you. Thank you. So, poetry isn't the only thing that gets stereotyped. We all do, right? We all get stereotypes, assumptions, misconceptions about us. So my family comes from a part of India called Punjab. Where are my Punjabis at? So I am Punjabi, and a common stereotype about Punjabis is that we consume copious amounts of alcohol. Now, in fairness, there is truth to that. However, it's the glorification of it that really bothers me because there's a lot of issues that come with this alcoholism that pervades my community. But the way it's treated is like, oh, Punjabis are these, hard partiers and big drinkers. And so anytime I meet people, they assume I drink. And when I tell them I don't, their response often is, but you're Punjabi. And that never sits well with me. So I wrote this poem about that, and it's called Over the Limit. But you're Punjabi, they say, as if I carry a bottle of alcohol in my back pocket at all times. As if that means I'm supposed to be an expert at all things liquor. As if I am bound to this stereotype that you believe I'm supposed to fulfill. As if my Punjab isn't drowning under liters of sharab, but you want me to be that loud, drunk Punjabi who doesn't think twice about another bottle, another glass, another sip, or four, while my community floods its rivers and veins with poison masked as pleasure. Still, I'm expected to be that carefree, loud Punjabi, the life of the party, bhangra and bottles into the early hours of the next dawn. How did a land and a people with such rich history and culture of arts, revolution, spiritual awakening, and beyond become infamous for how much alcohol we consume? Listen, I cherish my roots. I bleed and breathe my Punjab with every breath. The waters my ancestors bathed in now flow through every molecule in my body, eroding away the scars of oppression we face and the traumas of our past. Carrying me forward to give me the strength so we may improve upon what is and strive to become what they always believed we could be. So yes, I am Punjabi, but who we are should be so much more than how much we drink. Thank you. So, before I give my last piece, I want to thank you all for being here. Make some noise for yourself. Thank you to Leah. Thank you to the Triad. I'm really excited for you to see the rest of the artists and for those who have been here already. This is an amazing show. This is my first feature at the Triad, so I'm really grateful. And if you want to keep up with what I do, at Nav the Poet, Nav the Poet on all socials. Thank you. So reaching this point, reaching where I am in my career and my path with poetry could not be possible without everybody I've mentioned, but specifically my parents. I am very blessed that my parents are incredibly supportive of what I do, even if we sometimes get into disagreements about it, but they never have told me no. They've never said I should not do it. And my dad in particular, he has struggled and sacrificed so much for me to live a life that I find fulfillment in. And so this poem is a love letter to him. And so it's titled, Thank You, Come Again. And once again, thank you all for being here. I am a Punjabi American Sikh, born here in the United States, living for over 3 decades. Now my father, well, he's an immigrant. Came to this country at the age of 19, here for over 4 decades, crossing over miles of ocean and uncertainty, leaving behind the home he knows and loves, entering a world he knows nothing about, all on the single precious idea known as opportunity. Because America, well, it's the land of opportunity, right? So my father came here with nothing but the clothes on his back and the dream of a better life for his family, looking for opportunity. And yet, I hear it all the time. The jokes about my people in the media and my daily life. From the red dot to the head bob to the poorly imitated Indian accent of people saying, thank you, come again. Yes, my father has a thick accent. And yes, he speaks broken English. And he may have only earned a high school education, but he understands the definition and value of the term hard work better than 90% of college graduates here in the US. See, my father worked any job or opportunity given to him just to make it by. From his hands on the 10 and the 2, driving people across the city to see their families. Thank you, come again. To ringing up chips and Slurpees at 1 a.m. to satisfy those late night munchies. Thank you, come again. To pumping gas for people heading to their 9 to 5 when he has already been up 4 hours earlier. Thank you, come again. To helping a husband and wife buy a brand new car for their newly licensed 17-year-old. Thank you, come again. Thank you, come again. Thank you, come again. From the day my father set foot in this country, he has lived and breathed those 4 simple words because he knew that if they did not come again, he would not last. He would not survive, and he would not be able to provide a better life for his kids. So, excuse me if I seem to get offended when people have the audacity to say that immigrants are ruining this country. This country was built on the backs of people like my father, coming here with nothing but hope and determination, working 4, 5, 6 jobs over 20-hour days, 6 days a week for dirt pay, and still willing to spend it on a little boy like myself who cried so badly for that toy that he wanted. Immigrants are the unsung heroes of this nation, and they deserve to be appreciated. And my father is at the utmost top of that list. He is the most successful man on the planet who over the course of 4 decades has become a champion, holding numerous titles, such as taxi driver, gas station owner, 7-Eleven cashier, and Nissan dealership financial manager. But the biggest title of all, the one that matters the most, the one which he has earned and held for 365 days for over 32 years, the one which truly makes him champion of the world, is my father.